Phoenix, we noted the G20 Osaka meeting, and President Trump and President Xi had a meeting to agree on restart the negotiations. So will the negotiation restart again? And we also noted that the U.S. said they will not lift tariffs on Chinese goods. Does that mean that they will not remove the 200 billion tariffs on Chinese goods earlier? Thank you for your question. As for your first question, as of now, the two delegation teams have been kept in close communication. If there's more information, we will release in due course. As for your second question about the tariff, China always believed that unilateral imposing of the tariff will hurt both sides. And this will eventually hurt the interest of the U.S. companies and the consumers, and will also bring uncertainties to the global economy. And also, it will hold back development of the global economy. U.S. has imposed tariffs on Chinese goods, which is the starting point for this trade friction. If the two sides can't reach a deal, there is a need to remove all the additional tariff. China's position is clear and consistent. Thank you. Next question, please. With CNBC. First of all, I would like to ask your comments on the G20 summit. And we also noted that President Trump has saying that the two sides has already begun the trade negotiation. So what is the progress? And also, I want to understand the current progress for the unreliable entity list. So when will it be released? Thank you for your question. I will answer the second and the third question first. And for the progress of the negotiations, I have already said that the two sides have been kept in close communication. As for the unreliable entity list, we have followed our set pace and implement the procedures to launch this unreliable entity list, and we will release more information soon. As you asked about the leaders' summit between President Xi and President Trump, and during the sideline of the G20 Osaka summit, the two leaders had a successful meeting, which has set the direction for the future for the two countries. And this summit is well received by the international community. This once again emphasized that a good and sound trade relation between China and the U.S. meets the aspiration of the people around the world. China and U.S., their interests are interconnected. We have a lot of areas for cooperation. We believe that if the two sides could follow the guidance set by the two heads of states, and if we could expand our cooperation on the basis of equality and mutual respect, and we can properly manage our differences and solve the problems that has been risen from the trade friction so that we can achieve a win-win result. By doing that, we can bring real benefits to the two peoples and the world at large. At present, China's economy has maintained a solid growth. The GDP growth rate has maintained at above 6%, and we also have a very good import-export trade volume. We continue to optimize our trade structure, and also we have a very good employment market. No matter what changes in the outside world, China will continue to take effective measures to further opening up and reform. We will keep improving our business environment and do our part to ensure stability of the global economy. Thank you. Next question, please.
After the trade talks in Osaka, President Trump said that China had promised to buy tremendous amounts of American agricultural and other goods. There was no mention of that from the Chinese readout. Did China promise that in the meeting with the U.S., and when will you be implementing those promises if they did happen? Thank you.
在大阪中美元首进行的这个会晤之后，特朗普总统称中国承诺向美国购买大量的农作物，但是在中国的事后的声明中却没有提到这一点。我们想确认这个是否是属实的。如果是这样子的话，请问中国打算购买多少的这样子的农作物？谢谢。
Thank you for your question. In the area of agriculture, China and U.S. have very strong complementarity. We have a lot to cooperate in this field. For such a long time, because of the trade friction between the two countries, the agricultural industry in China has under great impact. For the agriculture industry, the two sides need to have further discussion. We hope both sides can start from the interest of our two peoples and act in the spirit of mutual respect and mutual benefit so that we can find a way to resolve all the problems. Thank you. As you mentioned during the Osaka meeting between the two heads of state, the two sides has agreed to hold a temporary truce of the trade friction and not lift additional tariff. So does that mean it is a suspension for the trade war, and we will want to understand how long it will last? Thank you. Thank you for your question. China always believed that for the trade friction between China and U.S., we have to resolve all of these problems through consultation and dialogue based on equality. And we hope that the U.S. will not lift additional tariffs on the Chinese goods so that we can de-escalate the tension. We definitely welcome these kind of practices from the U.S. We hope two sides can follow the guidance from China and U.S. and act in the spirit of mutual respect and equality so that we could address the concerns of both sides. In this way, we can find a mutually beneficial way to resolve all of these problems. By doing that, we can form a stable and predictable investment environment for the two countries. And this also serves the interest of the two peoples and also meets the aspiration of the international community. Thank you. Next question, please. This is from China Business Network. We noted that now we are holding the 26th round of RCEP negotiation in Melbourne. What is the progress right now? What will China continue to do in the negotiation process? So from June the 25th to July the 23rd, the 26th round of RCEP negotiation took place in Melbourne. In addition to a plenary section, we also had a parallel discussion in other trade areas, including the financing area, trade remedy, IPR, electronics, law, and other working group meetings. We have yielded fruitful results for all of these RCEP negotiations. And the 27th of the RCEP negotiation will take place from July the 22nd to 31st in Henan province. And later on, in early August, we will also hold a ministerial meeting to push forward the RCEP negotiation. And China respects the core position of the ASEAN countries in RCEP negotiation. We hope that a fruitful result will be coming out from the RCEP negotiation. We are preparing to end the RCEP negotiation by the end of this year. Thank you. Next question, please. From China News Service, we noted that during the Osaka meeting, and the Chinese leader has made consensus with the Japanese leader so we could better accelerate the discussion of the FTA agreement between China, Japan, and ROK. So for China, Japan, and ROK, all combined, the GDP accounts for around 20% of the world. To accelerate the FTA agreement between these three countries can help to boost the trade integration and regional integration. We have launched this kind of negotiation back in 2012. As of now, we have held 15 rounds of FTA negotiation. So currently, we would like to build on the results that we have made from the RCEP negotiation. And we would like to further facilitate the trade liberalization and facilitation so that in the future, we can reach a FTA between the three countries, which is known as the RCEP+. China would like to work with Japan and ROK to accelerate the negotiation. Hopefully, we can have an early conclusion of the negotiation, which is high quality and high standard. We three countries would like to build a high quality regional economic development zone. Thank you. My question is about the new foreign investment law. What is the current progress to implement this new law? Thank you. As you mentioned, the foreign investment law, for the other supporting laws, we have been included in the legislative plan for 2019 under the guidance of State Council. We're working with relevant legislative body for the preparation of these relevant laws. We would like to define more clauses and terms to facilitate the implementation of the foreign investment law. During this process, we will seek public opinion, especially to solicit opinion from the foreign investee companies. So we would like to get more details and systems to better implement the foreign investment law. Thank you. From CNR, my question is about the negative list. And last week we realized two revised negative lists had been released. I would like to understand the situation of the implementation of the negative list 2018 version. And we also see that the negative list has been shortened by around 10 terms. So what are the new features for the negative list for 2019? Thank you for your question. For the 2018 version of negative list has been successfully implemented in many areas in China, especially in the free trade zones. This actually helped to improve the trade cooperation in the free trade zones. First of all, we actually simplify some of the procedures to set up a foreign investee business. And for the FTZs, 90% of the foreign business are setting up by filing their records. And we continue to launch the trial projects in the free trade zones. In many areas, we actually replicate the experiences to nationwide. And for the FTZ, it has become a key driver to absorb foreign investment. With the launch of the negative list, we have improved the business environment and inject vitality of the market. In 2018, in the FTZ, we have added 9,000 more foreign invested companies. The actual use of foreign capital is over $10 million, which has been up by 13.2% year-over-year. As you mentioned, the revised negative list. In further opening up, there are several features for that. First, we emphasize on the further opening up in the service sector, in the area of transportation. We have removed some of the restrictions, and in the infrastructure, we have also removed some of the China control restrictions in the gassing and the heating industry. In the added value electricity, we also remove some of the foreign investment restriction in the area of call center. And also, we will further our opening up in the area of agriculture, mining, and the manufacturing. In the agriculture area, we remove the restrictions for foreign investment in the area of wildlife resource exploration. And we also remove some of the restrictions in the mining industry. And also, we remove some restrictions in the exploitation in this regard. In the manufacturing area, we also remove the restriction to produce ink and paper ink from the foreign invested companies. And in FTZs, we also lift up some of the restrictions for the foreign business to do the business in the printing area. Going forward, we will continue to provide better services to foreign business and to form a more optimized business environment and provide more opportunities for shared development. Thank you. From CNR, as President Xi has proposed 5 suggestions to further China's opening up, as he mentioned that we will add more free trade zones and expand the existing free trade zones in Shanghai. So can you give us more elaboration on that? So what are some of the features for the newly established free trade zones? Will that cover more areas in the central and the western region? Thank you for your question. As you mentioned that we will be adding 6 more free trade zones. As of now, we are collecting information from relevant local governments, and we are going through the procedures to set up these free trade zones. In the 6th additional free trade zone and the new area in the Shanghai Free Trade Zone will create an enabling market for the China's free trade zone. This will better serve the Chinese strategy and conduct differentiated competition so that we can share more benefits nationwide. Thank you. From CMG, we noted that one senior officer from the Commerce Department in U.S., he said that they're still considering Huawei as a blacklisted company. However, earlier we found that President Trump has already indicated that the ban on Huawei will be lifted. So what is your response to that? Thank you. Thank you for your 2 questions. First of all, we noted that on the sidelines of the G20 summit during his press conference, he said U.S. allowed their companies to sell parts to Huawei. We hope the U.S. side can walk the talk and stop using their national power to crack down Chinese business. As for your second question, the nature of the China-U.S. cooperation is mutual benefit. China always emphasized that we should act in the spirit of mutual respect equality and mutual benefit. If we are to make a deal, this deal should be mutually beneficial. The key concern from China should be properly handled. Thank you. Any more questions? If there's no more questions, that's the end of the press conference. Thank you.